Hey Rockstars, Lid Shaw, and I'm here at NAMM 2022 at the Oeksound booth to talk to Hannes. How you doing, Hannes?
I'm good. How are you?
Great to meet you. So now you guys are a plugin company from Helsinki, Finland, is that correct?
Exactly, that's correct.
All right. And then you make a plugin called Soothe, and I think, more recently Soothe2, and that plugin has gotten so many mentions on my podcast. So I interviewed producers and engineers for pro and home studios, and when I ask them for ways that they, deal with vocals that are harsh or just deal with things that are just troublesome, it comes up, people say, oh, Soothe is my magic weapon, my secret weapon. So give us a little bit of an introduction to that, and let the Rockstars know, what is Soothe, what's your goal for what you do at Oeksound, and then maybe we can just jump in and take a look.
Sure. So we at Oeksound have made two products so far. It's Soothe and Spiff, and now we're at Soothe2 with a version. And so that's our dynamic resonance suppressor, and Spiff is also then our adaptive transient processor. And we at Oeksound, we try and create tools that haven't been made before, so we're not looking at any more EQs, we're not looking at any more like compressors or stuff like that. We're looking at new ways to target problems that haven't been solved yet in audio. So that's what our two projects are doing, actually.
Okay, cool. So now, I went ahead and got Soothe myself for my studio, and I started using it on a mix recently, and I just put it on in default mode, and I kind of turned the knob up or down and everything, and I was struck by how it really helped.
Yeah.
But then I sort of also discovered, I was like, one day I went into the presets, and I was like, I tried some stuff out, and I was like, oh, the presets, you can go into strictly kind of de-essing mode.
Yeah.
You can manage bass and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about that, or how, let's look at what it does generally speaking.
Absolutely.
And then maybe give us a peek at some of the presets, or an explanation about it, what it's doing, because the way it looks is really cool too. So
Soothe, as I mentioned, is a dynamic resonance suppressor. So as you can see here, it looks like an EQ, but it actually isn't. Soothe analyzes the incoming signal and finds all the resonant frequencies, and then it also starts attenuating them, so cutting them off. So if I just play a bit of audio here, for example, what we can see now here is it's doing all of these notches here going on, which is something you would do with a dynamic EQ, but you would need quite many dynamic EQs to go and do that. So it's very, very automatic in how it's targeting and how it's finding these resonances. And one thing I always recommend for people when they're starting off with our products is to use the tutorial, built-in tutorial. We have one of those. And also make sure to use the delta mode a lot, because that's going to show you what it's taking away.
Yeah, we know better. Good night. How we're charging one.
So as you can see, it's targeting a lot of those really harsh frequencies. This was sung on an SM7, so that microphone in itself has a bunch of different resonant frequencies in it, and so it functions really good for that. As you can see, it's grabbing S's, so it's really good at de-essing as well. If we go into the presets, as you mentioned, we can find a bunch of different good presets for vocals. So we've made these together with guys that we've worked with that actually were really, really early adopters of our plugins. We got Jakir King here, who did Kings of Leon, MSM, who does a lot of the grime stuff in the UK. We have Mitch McCarthy that did the Olivia Rodrigo stuff. So I mean, they used our products and they made these presets, or they've actually just gone into the project where they used them and taken them from there. So
yeah, I recognize a few names in there too. Now, I do have a question though. When you were moving some of those, maybe if we're able to go back to that, can we understand a little bit more about this? So we see the white up here, we see the blue down here, and you can tell that when there's a resonant frequency, you can kind of see the blue dipping there. And then we've got this white line with these buttons, but then you also had a hollow circle that went across, and I'm not sure I know what those are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go through that. So
secret craving that you miss.
If we start from this, so as you mentioned, this is the notching that's going on. So this is all the cuts that are being made, similarly to an EQ. This white line is actually more like a sidechain EQ, or you can think of it as a focus EQ. So let's say I don't want Soothe to touch anything below 2000 hertz. I can go with a filter and filter out that. Now it won't touch anything beneath that frequency. Same goes.
But I saw some stuff bouncing there. It's just not. It's bouncing, but it's not actually doing it or something.
As you can see, it is with a cut, so we're still touching stuff over here. But when this ends over here, we're not touching anything right there.
Okay, cool. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah. So we can go really, really sharp, and now it won't touch anything over here. So in this area. And then the other kind of like thing you need to be aware of is that if I boost something here, if I turn this up, this means I want it to cut more here. I want to target this area more. So now I'm targeting this area more. And if I hold the Option key on the keyboard and press a band, this is the same as pressing the listen button down here. And that means I'm listening to the delta signal here. And what delta initially is the difference between the wet and the dry signal. So that lets me listen to what Soothe is currently taking away, what Soothe is currently removing. And that's the best way to learn how it works and what it's looking for.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. So, I'm familiar with that because there's certain plugins where, maybe you're filtering out noise or something, and then you're afraid you're taking away too much of the signal, and you turn on the, what's being removed, and you can hear it, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll back it off a little bit. So that's pretty hip with that. I mean, I guess you'd actually be taking things away, but you'd hear what the, so you would want to hear some of the, the voice going away, but you'd hear that it was really harsh sounding, and you'd think, oh, that's a good part to get rid of.
Exactly. So Soothe2 mainly handles whatever resonances are too much. So any kind of like imbalances. And obviously you can decide yourself. Soothe will always target the resonance they're targeting, but it's up to the user to decide if you wanna reduce them or not. So it's all the control is in the hands of the user, and it's really, really easy to just push it further, like do more or do less, or focus in on a specific frequency area. And also, if we're not doing harsh frequencies or like harsh resonances, we can also go down. For example, in this, I can actually target the proximity. And now we're actually just targeting the low frequencies here, like that. And obviously that has a different effect, because now I'm kind of adjusting according to how close the singer is to the microphone. And that's something that's super useful, especially in a live setting or in a podcast setting, of course, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely been times where I've had a vocal track and some voice notes are kind of boomy, and then other ones are thin, and it's kind of nice to just even those out. And do you have we can't really hear it, but bass guitar?
Yes.
That's where I found this was really amazing. I had a bass that I was mixing in a song, and I noticed that there were certain notes that were just huge, and it was killing the mix. And so I thought, well, maybe I should explore Soothe and see if it actually can manage a bass note. And I couldn't believe it. It removed the bass note just about if you wanted to. And so you could really specifically dial in exactly where you want that low end to land in your mix, which was pretty cool. But anything more to say about using it on bass?
We've definitely seen a bunch of different use cases when it comes to bass, kick, or anything like that. We do have a sidechain feature which is a bit more advanced. So if you want to do your kick bass sidechain, but you want to do it very frequency specific, you can put this on the bass and feed the kick to the Soothe instance on the bass, which is actually going to grab out the frequency content of the kick from the bass and do it very frequency specific, so not touch the areas that the kick doesn't occupy.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's a great useful feature. So also it just looks cool on the screen, yeah. But let me see, what anything you want to show us in terms of de-essing? I feel like that's a common problem is, we're trying to mix vocals. The vocals, we think they're sounding great, but then we get to the S's and we're like, and you put on 10 de-essers and you still can't get it. Come on in, we'll take a look. And what have you got that's a secret weapon for de-essing?
I mean, the presets are a good way to start, and I'm definitely going to the vocal presets and just find here vocal de-esser. Joe Ciccarelli, one of my favorite recording engineers, has made this one, so this is how that one looks. And let's just play one here. You see there immediately when the S is hit.
I know everybody's leaving, please not yet.
And then we can listen to the delta again to make sure that we hear what it's reacting to. As you can see, it knows exactly when those S's appears because those S's are resonances. They're very resonant frequencies that build up over time. So with this, I would definitely go in and listen to the delta signal, and then search for where those S's happen. Yeah, I mean,
That's cool, man. That's great.
yeah.
That's like I just feels like that's an easy way to find the S's and have a solution for it. Nice work.
Yeah, because it only targets where those S's appear, so it's not going to touch anything else around that. So it's not going to like sound weird or artificial, and it's easy to kind of pull back as well if you feel it's doing too much.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, I'm probably going to be using Soothe on my podcast mixes soon. Maybe I'll even use it on this video. I don't know if I'll get to that. I won't get home that fast. But that's great. Hannes, thank you so much for doing this with us. Where should the rock stars go if they want to check this out? Is there a price point you want to talk about? How do they get started?
Yeah. So Soothe is €199, so $219. But we have, I never ask anyone to buy our product. The only thing I ask is that people go and download it and try it. And so we have a 20-day trial for anyone that wants to do it. It's without any limitations, so make as much money you want on that demo. Maybe you'll actually earn it back. And yeah, so actually download it from oeksound.com, easy to remember. And there you'll also see what other stuff we've got going on.
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Rock stars, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and go download the demo and try it out. I promise you're going to love it. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel so you catch all the videos that we're making here, as well as hitting that notification bell so that you know when the next one comes out from NAMM 2022. See you in the next video, rock stars. Cheers.